Good morning, third grade. I hope everybody had an awesome weekend. The weather was beautiful, so hopefully you got to spend some time outside. Today you are beginning a new unit, which is super exciting. And we are going to be starting off with something called perimeter. And you might have heard of this word before, but we're going to go a little bit more in depth today with what perimeter is and showing some examples of it. Okay? So the definition of perimeter is the distance around a shape. So perimeter is used very often in real life situations. It's a measurement topic. So when you're measuring things like pictures and you want to put a picture frame around, or if you're trying to measure a fence that you want to put around the backyard, or if you want to measure the outside of a pool. All of these are going to deal with the perimeter of the shape. The shape can be any figure. It could be squares, rectangles, even some irregular shapes that have many, many sides. But perimeter is going to be the total distance around the outside of that shape. So there are going to be some keywords that are going to let us know that it's probably a perimeter question. If you see words like outside of a figure, or around a figure, or the border of a shape, or something needs a frame, or an edge, or an exterior, all of these words are key words to let you know that it is dealing with the measurement of the outside of a figure, which would be perimeter. Okay, and these words will be really important in the next few days when we introduce you to another term known as area. So these keywords will help us to identify the difference. So I keep talking about the distance around a shape. Now over here, I just simply took a piece of paper and I drew a grid on it. And I am going to now just draw some shapes by connecting the dots. So let's say I draw a shape that looks like this. If I would like to find the perimeter of this shape, I'm going to trace around the outside of the figure. And I'm going to count how many units it measures. So first, let me count this. I have 1 unit here and 2 units here. Then over here I have another 2 units. Then over here I have 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units, 4 units. Over here I just have 1 unit. And I'm not counting the dots, I'm counting the spaces in between, the distance between the dots. Now when I come over here of my shape, I'm going to have 1 unit, 2 units, and then up here, 1 unit. So if I want to find the perimeter, I have to add up all of those units. So 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus another 4 is 8. Plus 2 is 10. And then this one and this one would give me 11, 12. So this shape has a perimeter of 12 units. And the reason I keep saying that word units is because this shape, I don't have a ruler, I'm not measuring it. That might be feet, it could be inches, it could be centimeters, it could be millimeters. I'm not sure what was used to measure. So I'm just gonna call it units until I find out something more specific. All right, and watch me do one more. I'll do a regular shape that you've seen before. Let's pretend I have a pool. Okay, and I want to get maybe some bricks put around the border of my pool. Let me find the perimeter, or the distance around the outside of my shape, to see how much I would need. So I'm going to go with my blue. Here I have 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units. Remember, I'm not counting dots. I'm counting the spaces between them. 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to come down here. 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units, 4 units. Now, in my head, I'm already thinking forward, and I recognize this shape to be a rectangle. So hopefully when I count my units, I know my opposite side should be equal. So hopefully I'll count 3 units here. 1, 2, 3, and I do. And then hopefully up top, I should guess that this is probably 4 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, it is. So I have 4 units, 4 units, 3 units, 3 units. Well, 4 plus 4 is 8. 3 plus 3 is 6. 8 plus 6 equals a perimeter of 14. Perimeter equals 14. Okay, so now, rather than just having a geoboard, you might also see it represented using squares like this. So I'm going to practice counting or measuring the perimeter of these by counting the distance around the outside of my shapes. So for this figure, I'm going to count the distance between each one. So watch. For me, I like to actually trace over so I know that I've counted each one. So here I go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to label it. Then down here, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 units. 1, 2, 3, 4 units. So when I add up my 4 sides of 4 units each, I get a total perimeter of 16, I'm going to call them U's for units. Okay? And if you notice, it is a square, so all the sides should be equal. Now let's go to the one below it. This is a rectangle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Below I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because this is a rectangle, so it should be equal to the one opposite. And then finally, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm going to add up my doubles first. 8 and 8, 16. 5 and 5, 10. 16 plus 10 gives me a perimeter of 26 units. Okay, now these are irregular shapes. So it's not going to have the nice equal number of sides here. 4, 4, 4, 4, 5, 5, 8, 8. So I'm going to have to be careful with my counting. Here I go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units again. 1, 2, 3, 4 units. Now over here I have 1, 2. Now don't forget, I still have to count even these inside ones. 1, 2. And this little guy, 1. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Okay, and I know I counted all of them because it went from blue to now it's black. So I'm going to be very careful. I like to circle them as I add them so I don't forget any sides. So I have 5 and 5 is 10. 10 plus 4 is 14. 15, 16. 17, 18. 19, 20. 23, 24. So the perimeter of this figure is 24 units. And now I want you to try counting this last one. I know it's hard when you don't have a paper in front of you. Use your finger. I'll give you about 30 seconds and see if you can tell me the perimeter. All right, let's see what we have. I'm going to erase this so I don't mix mix it up. Down here, 1, 2, 3 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units again. 1, 2, 3, 4 units. 1, 2, 3 units. And then 2 units down here. Again, I add it up. I like adding doubles first. 6 and 6 is 12. 12 plus 4 is 16. 17, 18. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So my perimeter is 24 units. Great job. One last way I'm going to show you how you can find the perimeter is using an actual measuring tool, because if you noticed on my last questions, I had to keep labeling my answer as just units. Well, when we use a tool such as, a ruler, that's going to help give us our actual units. So here's my first shape. I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to use my inch side. And remember, when we measure, we always start not at the edge, but at the first little 0 line. So I'm going to measure below. The bottom has a measure of 3 inches. You might not be able to see it, but 3 inches. So I'm gonna fill in the 3. This is tough when there's only one of me. Next, I'm gonna measure my inches. This side, you can see 2 inches. Now this is a rectangle, so I should notice, like you can see, this side is 3. And then finally, my last side is 2. When I add it up, 3 plus 3 is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'm not gonna say the perimeter is 10 units because I know those units are now inches. So the perimeter of this would be 10 inches. All right, let's try one last one. This time, instead of inches, let's try centimeters. So let's try the top part of this. I'm gonna flip my ruler and use the smaller units, which are centimeters, but I still start at 0. When I measure this first one, you can see it has a measure of 10 centimeters for that side. And think ahead, this should have 3 measurements since it has 3 sides. Next, I'm gonna measure over here, and it's 8 centimeters. And then finally, my last side, I'm sorry if you're not really seeing this, 9 centimeters. So when I add them up, 10 plus 9, 19. 19 plus 8 is 27, and the units, centimeters. So those are 3 different ways you can think about perimeter, using little squares, using a geoboard. You can kind of create your own shapes, and then using an actual ruler to find the real unit measures. We're gonna do some work with this for the next few days, so stick with it. And I hope to answer any questions that you have in the next coming days, and maybe go over a few more questions together. But I'm really proud of you. Keep working hard, and looking forward to talking to you soon. Have a good afternoon. Bye, guys.